Alrighty. Hey everybody, my name is Frank. This is the PothOnProgramming video log, and today we're doing part 8 of the Stay Down devlog. Today I think I'm going to add some items. I have not planned for this video. I haven't done any messing around with the code for like a week, so I'm just going in, jumping in. It's going to be interesting. Let's start by just making an item class. So we're going to come into constructors, and should I call it item? I'm going to call it item for now because I'm not really sure what it's going to be, but basically I'm going to make the main collectible. I'm thinking it's going to be like some kind of diamond. You're going to pick it up. It's going to spawn in random places. You're going to pick it up, and it's going to add a diamond to like the top area of the screen so you can see how many you've collected. I'm thinking maybe later I'll use it for like a purchasing system, but that might be a little too advanced, so I'm not really sure what I'm going to use it for, but let's go ahead and create the class so we can get something on the screen. So I'm just going to call this item is so vague though. I am going to do item though. Platform is vague too. So item.js. I'm going to come in here. I'm just going to copy the platform code and I'm going to slap it into the item code. I'm going to call it item. Yeah, we'll use rectangle 2D. I was going to use a circle for the, I guess, the hitbox of the item, but I'm going to use a rectangle just to keep everything the same. The player's a rectangle, so let's do this item equals function. It's basically just a rectangle. Move force, I don't know if I need move force, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. I also don't think I need velocity for this. I definitely need the rectangle though. Move up, I don't need that. This is going to be renamed to item. And we're going to assign item.prototype, the rectangle 2D prototype. We're going to return item. Save. We're going to go ahead and pull it into the project by doing this. Not necessarily the project, but into the program. We're going to come up to where our constructors are, and we're going to add source equals constructors. That didn't work. Constructors slash item and script. Save. Excuse me, I'm gonna drink some water. Alright, so now that we have our item class, we need to have an item manager. Basically the manager is going to be the same as the platform manager, but I haven't really put the manager to good use yet for the platforms. That's going to be in a future video, but I want different types of platforms, at least 2 different types of platforms. Platforms you can drop through and platforms that you can't, to add a little bit of variety to how you interact with the platforms. Just to start, I'll have 2 types. The same thing is going to be for the items. I'm going to need a manager because I'm going to have different types of items, and I'm going to want something to just easily put in the code, like item manager dot create certain type of item. For now, we're just going to have the main collectible. So I'm going to do item manager.js and save that. I'm going to come into platform manager. Well, that is a really sparse manager. I really did not populate that very much. But let's go ahead and do item manager here. Item manager equals a function. Item, we're going to pull in item into a local variable here, or a local constant rather. We're going to have active items, create item xy, this dot active items dot push a new item at xy, and the width is going to be, let's make the width of the hitbox, because the graphic is going to be different than the hitbox. Make the width of the hitbox 16 and the height 16. So we got a pretty small hitbox, a quarter the size of our player, but that's going to be fine because the item's not going to be as big as the player. And just like that, we got the item manager, super sparse item manager, but it'll do for what we're doing, which is just throwing it on the screen. Let's go into the HTML and pull that in. manager slash item manager. Save. Let's refresh. Let's bring up the console because I know I'm going to have some errors before too long. Still haven't figured out how to get F12 to work. It's not that I haven't figured out, I just literally keep forgetting to do it, and then I'm in the video and I'm trying to do it and it's just not happening for me. Need to figure out where that's coming from. Probably coming from the run state if I had to guess. Let's go to game states, run, find that console.log. We're gonna get rid of this so I don't have to see that. Refresh, cool. All right, let's go, well, we're in the right place actually. So do I need to go into staydown.js and add a manager? No, I don't. I already have access to the manager. So inside of the run state, let's go to the bottom and just say, oh wait, I have to make a local constant here. So we'll do, I'm basically just pulling in the item manager into my run game state. So staydown.managers.item manager, bam. And we could use this big long thing here every time we want to reference item manager, but that, I just don't like the look of that. That would be really hard to read. So I'm just making a local variable at the top. Probably a better way to do this, but for now this is the way I'm doing it. It's not too horrible, and you kind of figure out what you're using inside of this module, I guess, inside of this run game state. It's pretty clear what you're using up at the top. Also, do I need to pull in the item class? No, I don't. All right, so down at the bottom, we're gonna do the same thing we did with our platforms, just only one time with an item. So I'm gonna do item manager dot create item. We're gonna do 100, 100. Save. See if we get any errors. Don't have any errors yet. What is going on down here? I don't need to see what's new. Get out of here. All right. Okay, get rid of this. So we created an item. Now to render the item, let's loop through our items. We're gonna do the same thing. We'll draw items after platform so it shows up on top of our, yeah, we want to show up on top of platforms. I'm just thinking, do I want it to show up over top of the player? I think I do. If I don't, then we'll fix it. Get rid of this var because we already defined it in the first for loop. We'll do var items equals item manager dot active items index equals items dot length, index is greater than -1, minus minus index. I think I already explained in the last video why I loop through things backwards, and it's going to be apparent in this video why, because I'm actually going to be splicing. Well, am I? I'm not, because I'm going to have the item manager just put it into the inactive array. But anyway, if you were to splice something out of an array while you're looping through all of those objects in the array, if you're looping backwards and you pull it out, you don't have to make any adjustments to your index, because on the next iteration through your array, index is going to decrement or decrement 1, and basically it just makes the whole process of removing items while you're looping through that same array full of those items a little bit easier. So that's why I'm doing it. Let's go here and just say var item equals items at index display.fillRect. For now I'll use fillRect. Index.x. Index is not what I want. Item.x. Item.y. Item.width. Item.height. See what we get. We should have a square at 100, 100. Cool. And I think I'm going to make it yellow. So let's do display.fill style equals number full 09000. That's my go-to yellow. Cool. So now we got a yellow square. I'm not really too keen on the square, but I guess for now it doesn't really matter. I kind of want to make a rhombus. Let me do a rhombus instead, because that would be way cooler instead of a rectangle, even though the hitbox is going to be a little different. Let me do Let me do the rhombus anyway, because I think we should have some variety of shape, even though I am thinking that I'm going to replace all of this Canvas Draw API stuff with actual pixel graphics. Not sure yet, we'll see, but I'll do a rhombus just because it looks cool. So display.move to item.x minus, let's do minus 10, item.y minus 10. Oh, the hitbox though. The hitbox starts at x and y. So let's do, yeah, the hitbox doesn't work. So let's do item.x plus get half width. I'm gonna have to add some methods to the prototype of rectangle to get this to work. And then we're gonna do item.y okay, so we're moving to item.x, which is a rectangle. So we've got our rectangle, right? So we're moving to the rectangle of item x plus half of the width. And we're starting at the top, so that's why. So we're good there. Let's go into the next step here, display.line to item.get right item.get center y. Should probably define these methods before I start using them, but whatever. Display.line to item.get center x, and this is what I'm going to use for up here, item.get center x, item.y. It's a little easier to read. Item.get right, item.get center y, item.get center x, item.get bottom, and then finally display.line to item.get left, item.get center y. Now save that and we'll go back to rectangle 2D. We'll come in and we'll say get center x, return this dot x plus this dot width times 0.5, get center y, return this dot y plus this dot height times 0.5, get left, get right, get top, get bottom. So I've got all those. I think I should be good. Let me refresh. I don't have any errors, so I'm probably okay. I don't know why it's still, did I not get rid of the rectangle drawing code? Let's go back to run. Don't need to fill rect anymore, but I am going to still do display.fill. Display.fill, save. Let's see what we get. Hey, we got a little diamond. Let's do, just to make sure I have this centered properly in the hitbox region, let's get our rectangle back. Display.fillRect. And of course, before we do anything, we've got to do display.beginPath. This way we don't have an endless path that just connects all of our items. So let's do, we got fillRect. Let's make the fill style for fillRect. We'll keep it yellow, but then we'll change it after we fill, and we'll do fill style equals so we can see the, okay, so now we've got the diamond in the center and we've got the hitbox. I want to make the diamond bigger than the hitbox, so what I'm going to do is, should I do like minus 10, do like minus 5, minus 5, and actually we don't need to do minus on the center, get right, plus 5, center Y, center X, get bottom, plus 5, get left, minus 5. This is gonna basically grow our diamond. Alright, cool. So you can see the edges of the hitbox there, but the diamond is bigger. So that works for me. And then I will get rid of these two things here. Save that, refresh. Alright, cool. So I've got a diamond item. So now the next step is to have the player interact with the diamond and be able to detect a collision with it. So that's some good code to draw it for now until we switch over. It's just placeholder drawing until we switch over to the pixel graphics. Let's make a function to collide with a item. Actually, I guess it should just be like collide rectangle with rectangle. So function collide rectangle with rectangle. That's quite a name there. Rectangle 1, rectangle 2. It's going to take two objects that have all the properties of rectangles, not inside of an object literal, so that doesn't make any sense. Put that comma there. Alright, collide rectangle with rectangle. Basically just going to say if rectangle 1 dot get left. So if the left side of rectangle 1 is greater than rectangle 2 dot get right. So if the left side of rectangle 1 is greater than the right side of rectangle 2, we can't possibly have a collision, so we'll return false. Down here we'll return true. Now we basically just need to come up with the other three. Rectangle 1 dot get top. If the top of rectangle 1 is greater than the bottom, rectangle 2 dot get bottom, the bottom of rectangle 2, then we can't possibly have a collision. Or rectangle 1 dot get right. So if the right side of the rectangle is less than rectangle 2 dot get left, can't have a collision. And finally, if rectangle 1 dot get bottom, so if the bottom of rectangle 1 is less than rectangle 2 dot get top. Cool. So if any of these conditions are true, these two rectangles can't possibly be colliding. And the reason I'm doing it kind of backwards, I'm not testing for collision, I'm testing for a scenario that would make collision impossible, is because if this first condition is true, then I don't have to test these other three conditions. So doing it this way gives me the potential to early out and not have to test multiple collisions. So let's save that. Come down here, and inside of update, when we do our, we have to loop through our platforms. We also have to loop through our items. So let's go ahead and copy this loop out of our render function. Come back up here. After we do platform collision, we're going to do item collision. So I'm going to say paste, and I'm going to say the same loop, but we don't need any of the drawing code. And then I'm just going to say if collide rectangle with rectangle, We're going to pass in item, and we're going to pass in player. If collide rectangle with rectangle, item player. Console.log hit. Save. I feel like I'm just slapping stuff together here. I'm not even sure if this is going to work. I don't know why it started me out with a hit. Oh, it starts out with a hit because the player starts out inside of the hitbox. Alright, so as you can see, when I hit that, I'm getting some good collision feedback. Alright, so one really easy way to make this item move would be when there is a collision. Let's do this. When there's a collision, nothing needs to happen to the player, but the item does need to move. Item dot. What are my functions on rectangle? Let's take a look at rectangle. Set right and set top. Move X and move Y. I guess I'll just use set right and set top. Ooh. Item dot set. Oh wait, set. I need set left actually. I do have set left and I have set bottom. I've got them all. All right, so let's do set left. Math.random times world width. Cool. And actually, we want to do math.random times world width, but we want to subtract item.width. Cool. The reason we want to subtract item.width is because we're going to set the X position of the item to a random position inside of the world boundaries. And that means the left side of our diamond shape here can actually be set pretty much right here, so the diamond is going to appear off screen. So we want to subtract the width of the diamond from that range. This way the maximum position the diamond can be placed is like right here, and then the width of the diamond would still be inside the viewport. But we also want to take into account that if we just subtract item width, the item might be spawned, math.random might be 0, and the item might just be spawned at negative item width, so we'd be off the screen on the other side. So what we want to do to fix that is say world width times world width minus item width. So now we're going to have a random position between 0 and whatever world width minus item width is. So just using order of operations to encapsulate this portion in some parentheses. This way everything works out and the item is positioned properly inside of the world boundaries. So if I just do this and I refresh, my item is going to just pop up somewhere else on the same x-axis. Bam. And at the same time we handle that collision, we just want to increment a counter up to collect our item. We don't actually need to remove this item because this, I'm not really sure what I want to happen with this item yet exactly. I think ultimately I want an effect where when you have a collision with the item, it actually kind of like moves up into the corner here next to where it says how many you have, and then after a certain amount of time it respawns somewhere else on the screen. But for right now we're just doing the very basics to get things operational and functional. As you can tell, this is a prototype, not a very finished product at all at this point. But let's add the Y repositioning in there, and then I'll decide whether or not I want to do the counter text. Probably will. Item.set top, and we're going to do the same thing, except instead of width, we're going to do height. Math.random times world height minus item.height. Save. I forgot a semicolon, semicolon, save. Cool. So we might want to make it so that, bam, we might want to make it so that we can't spawn below the ground, because that would be kind of lame. This is actually mildly fun already. It's not that fun. I definitely wouldn't want to play this for a long time, but I could see, like, if I had some spikes at the top of the screen, how this would be a little, like, I probably would have just died right there. And then I might make it where, well, it's called stay down, so if you hit the ground, you should be fine. I'm going to just have to make it so more platforms come up. Obviously, the screen is too tall, and I don't have enough platforms to really keep things interesting. But there's a clear goal. You got to get that little item, and you're not supposed to hit the ceiling, but I haven't implemented that feature yet. So, all right, let's do the text. Ultimately, the text for the counter of how many of these there are going to be is going to be like pixel text that I make myself, so like a custom font that I just make in like GIMP or something. But for now, we're just going to have a P tag, a paragraph element in the HTML. I think I'm going to generate it in JavaScript because I'm doing the same thing with my canvas. But basically, we're going to have a P tag here, and we're just going to fixed position it right up here. So let's go into the, where did my little window go? Here we go. We're going to go into, getting too many files. We're going to go into staydown.js. We actually have our display canvas defined here. We're going to do output document.create element p, and then we're going to do append child this dot output. And also, just so we have some text in there, I'm going to say this dot output dot inner text equals hello. Cool. Save, refresh, see what we get. We got hello, and it's way down there, which we don't really want. So what we want is to fix position this hello inside of our canvas. So in order to do that, let's go back to here. Do I have some styling? Yes, I do. Justify item center. Let's get a handle on the P tag. We're just going to say P, which is not good because we're going to be selecting all P elements, so that's a problem, but we'll fix that. This is just temporary anyway. Like I said, we're going to use the actual image text. This is just placeholder stuff. So select the P element. We're going to say position fixed. And at this point, we're probably going to have a resize function to keep it inside of the canvas. Let's make it position fixed. Let's make the color white. Color is going to be, I think that's 6. Okay. Color is going to be white. Position is going to be fixed. Font weight is going to be 800. Make it nice and bold. Font size, let's make it 24 pixels. Save. That's kind of beefy. I like that. That's not bad. It's up at the top. Position fixed. Should I put it here? I'm going to put it here. Let's make it so I can't select it. Inside of this select everything, I'm just going to do user select none. And that's going to prevent me from doing this, at least in Chrome. I'm pretty sure in Firefox and not Internet Explorer, Edge, Internet Explorer 2, you're going to have some other kind of some other kind of property other than user select, maybe like Moz user select or something like that. But wait, didn't work because I didn't save. Refresh. But now I can't select that. So you don't want to have the player like messing with the mouse or something selecting your in-game text. I feel like that just makes it look kind of cheap. All right, let's do position it inside of the canvas. Let's go to, do I want to do the run state? This shouldn't even be in the run state because it should be all game states, because resize is going to have to be handled inside of, I think that each game state is going to have its own resize method, but resize is going to be something I do globally with this one object in our global scope. So I'm just going to say resize function takes an event parameter, console.log, just to see if it's working, resize, and then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to do window.add event listener, resize, this.resize, save, refresh, and then when I resize the window, I get some resize. So now inside of here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say this, oh wait, can't do this inside of here, so that's kind of a pain. How am I going to handle this? I really don't want to use stay down inside of, like, I don't want to do this. Stay down dot output. That just doesn't look right. Output equals stay down dot output. Output dot. We're gonna have to use CSS. What is the CSS for positioning this? Is it left? Let's just do left and see what we get. Left equals stay down dot display dot canvas. Get client left. I don't know if that's even a thing. I'm in uncharted territories here. So this is gonna probably give me an error. Canvas.getClient left is not a function. Get bounding client rect perhaps. Let's do rectangle equals display.canvas.get bounding client rect. I think I can work with this. Rectangle dot. See if I get some nice autofill. I do. Left equals left. Save. Refresh. Ooh. Left. See which one hits the spot here. It's not that one. Let me do oh crap, I'm sorry. Style.left because it's CSS, my bad. Style.top equals rectangle dot client top plus pix. I don't know if that's accurate either, but we'll find out. We'll get it right after. Ooh, wait a minute. Was that a scroll bar? I thought I got rid of scroll bars. We can get rid of that scroll bar real quick too, because that's not something I want to see either. Top, left, save, refresh. Please work. Ah, it works. Nice. Okay. So now we have that. I'm gonna have to call the resize function down here as well, just to get it to work right off the bat. This dot resize, bam. So now when we restart, we've got hello. It's in the top corner. Didn't mean to click that, but when we resize, it's gonna resize. That is horrible. So let's go back to stay down at HTML and just say overflow hidden. I thought I had already done this, but I guess not. That kind of sucks, but you get the idea. Overflow is hidden. Now we no longer have scroll bars. It's always going to center because on the body we have line item center and justify item center, but if you're trying to play on a screen that small, the game's not going to fit anyway, unless I work in some kind of scaling thing, which I am going to do actually, because I want this thing to go full screen when I get it up on itch. Let's go ahead and adjust the counter. So I'm going to go into the run game state. I'm going to come up to the top. I'm going to make it constant. I'm going to call it, I guess I never use document element. I'm going to get rid of that for now. I'm going to say const item count equals 0. Save it. I'm going to come down to the update function. Inside here, whenever we have a collision with the player, we're gonna do, sorry for the background noise, we're gonna do item count plus plus save, and we're gonna also pull in the output, which is that P element. Remember over here we're calling output, we're just basically assigning output that P element that we're appending to the body down here. So inside of the run game state, we're going to come up to the top and we're going to say next to display const output equals stay down dot output. Cool. Save. Output is that. We're going to come to item counts. We're going to say output dot inner text equals item count. It's not initialized to 0, so it's going to start with hello. But once we capture this, ooh, oh my bad, I made item count a constant. That is not right at all. I don't know why I did that. Let's go back to item count and make it a var. Save, refresh, no error when I start. I've got 1 for some reason. I don't know why it starts out with 1. Hey, there's a problem. All right, let's fix that problem. So we're allowing the item to spawn below the ground, and ground just has a variable called top. So let's go ahead and fix that real quick. Let's find it. Set top. Okay, so we're going to set the top of the item to a random location. Oh, and by the way, it initializes to 1 up here because the player starts where the item starts, because I always default my objects to 100 100 because it's easy to type. All right, set top math.random, a number between 0 and world height minus item height minus world height minus ground dot top. So what is ground dot top again? Ground dot top is world height minus 32. So ground dot top is whatever this is right here, and when I do world height minus whatever this is right here, it's going to give me this distance right here, and that's what I want. So let's come back down and look at that closely one more time. I think that's accurate. All right, let's see what we get. And actually, let's slap this nice random thing in here inside of our item code to generate the item. Item.create item. The Y position is going to be random. The X position is also going to be random. Of course, we don't have access to item height. This is just temporary, so I'm just gonna go in and throw in, was item height again? 16? I think it was 16. 16. Save. Refresh. Just going to refresh it a whole bunch of times and see if we get any cases where the item is below that line. This is a terrible way to test because you could do this a billion times and technically it will never necessarily have to reach that lower limit. But from the looks of it, we've been to the top, we've been to the ground, we've been a lot of places in between. From the looks of it, like I've been up at the top several times now, but I have not yet been towards the bottom. I just know the math looks right, so I'm thinking we're all good. Let's refresh. 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 I like how it says hello. That's pretty tacky, but we're gonna fix that anyway. It's just placeholder stuff to get stuff up and running. All right, so that basically does it for this video. I've added an item to the screen. I can collect the item. I have a counter that counts up. Super cheesy because it's just a P tag that's crappily positioned at the top left of my screen. Eventually what I want to do is when I grab this item, I want it to kind of zoom up to the top left, and there's going to be a diamond up here as well, just like a placeholder diamond that's not even an actual collectible object, just the image of the diamond. It's going to zoom up to the top, sit on top of that placeholder image, be recycled with the item manager, and then replaced somewhere else on the screen. After maybe like a couple seconds, this way you're kind of left hanging. Maybe I'll even have it kind of materialize in. Also, I do think I'm going to replace all of these graphics with pixel graphics, so that'll be pretty cool. That's going to be its own thing. I guess I'm not really sure what I'm going to do for the next video, but stay tuned and you'll find out. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. If you like the video on YouTube, you can hit that like button. You can leave a comment if you have any questions. I have a link to Discord if you guys want to contact me about whatever or talk to other people on the channel in a better forum. Discord is a good place to do it. So I've got the link to Discord on the website, PothOnProgramming.github.io, so check that out. All right, thanks for watching. I am out.